All right, thank you for taking a few moments with me today. I'm going to keep this tight and make it worth your time. My name is Lee Boone. I'm the founder of Buckeye Financial, LLC, and I specialize exclusively in retirement protection planning. What this means and why it matters to you is exactly what this is about. Every year, you spend tax time delivering news to your clients, some of it good, a lot of it not. Well, my job is to make sure that next year the conversation is a little less painful, and let's get into it. I want you to think about what it's like coming out of tax season. You sat across from your client who did everything right, saved their whole career, contributed to their 401k, lived below their means, and you had to explain to them why they owe money they weren't expecting. Maybe it was an RMD that kicked in and created a taxable event they couldn't avoid. Maybe their income crossed the threshold and their Medicare premium spiked. Maybe 85% of their Social Security just became taxable income and they looked at you like you were speaking a different language. You didn't create that problem, but you were the one in the room when it landed. I'm the person who could have prevented it. And I want you, and I want to be, rather, I want to be a resource when you see it coming. Excuse me. There are 4 specific threats I focus on, and every single one of them lives in your world as a CPA. First, the RMD ambush. The moment a client hits 73, the IRS forces withdrawals from their pre-tax accounts whether they need the money or not, and that creates taxable income on demand. Second, you have Social Security taxation. When a client's combined income crosses the threshold, up to 85% of Social Security benefits become taxable. Most of them had no idea this was possible. Third, IRMA surcharges. One high-income year, even from a one-time event like Roth conversions or property sale, can trigger Medicare premium increases that follow them for 2 years. And fourth, the sequence of returns tax trap. When a client has to sell depreciated assets just to pay an unexpected tax bill, they permanently damage their portfolio's ability to recover. These 4 things, you see them. I solve them. That's the partnership I'm here to talk about. Here's the way I describe it to clients, and it lands every time. Every dollar sitting in your client's 401k, IRA, or 403b has a co-owner. The co-owner never worked a single day at the job, never made one contribution, never missed a paycheck to put money away. But the moment your client starts taking withdrawals, the co-owner collects. The co-owner is the IRS. And what I specialize in is legally, strategically reducing the IRS share before it's too late to act. That's not tax advice, that's protection planning. And it works hand in hand with everything you're already doing for your clients. I don't want to deal in theory. Let me show you real numbers. Take a client with $500,000 in traditional IRA who just turned 73. Their required minimum distribution alone is pushing $19,000 in forced taxable income. That triggers IRMA. That pushes more of their Social Security into taxable territory. In 1 year, without any planning, that client could be looking at a combined tax hit of over $14,000. Now run the same client through a plan where we did partial Roth conversions before 72, repositioned a portion into a fixed indexed annuity for guaranteed income, and structured withdrawals to stay below IRMA thresholds. That same client is potentially saving $6,000 to $9,000 a year in taxes every year for the rest of their lives. That's not a projection, that's planning. And it starts with you knowing I exist. Let me be specific about the tools I use, because I think it matters to you to know exactly what I'm bringing to the table. I work primarily with fixed indexed annuities, FIAs. These are instruments that provide guaranteed lifetime income with zero market loss exposure. Your client gets a paycheck they cannot outlive, and they never have to sell a single asset in a downturn to cover living expenses. I also work with Indexed Universal Life, IUL, which provides tax-free retirement income, built-in long-term care protection, and legacy transfer, all in one structure. I specialize in tax-efficient income sequencing, which is the strategy of coordinating withdrawals with across accounts to reduce RMD impact, lower IRMA exposure, and minimize Social Security taxation year over year. I am not competing with what you do. I am completing the picture for your clients. Here's what I know to be true, because I hear it every time I sit across from a retiree. They are already asking questions that don't have a tax answer or an investment answer. They're asking, how do I reduce what I owe on my RMDs? Is there a way to protect my income if the market crashes? Why do my Medicare premiums go up? Can I pass something to my kids without the government taking a significant portion? How do I make sure I don't outlive my money? You can answer part of those questions. Their investment advisor can answer part of those questions. But none of those conversations are complete without a retirement protection specialist in the room. That's the seat I fill. And when you have someone like me to refer to them, you become the advisor who thought of everything. Before I make the ask, let me tell you who I am. I've been in the insurance and financial service industry for over 20 years. I started in health insurance, moved into Medicare, and for the last several years I've focused exclusively on retirement protection planning, FIAs, IUL, and income strategies for people approaching and in retirement. I'm licensed in Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, Ohio, and Tennessee. Before all of that, I played defensive back at The Ohio State University. I was part of the 2002 BCS National Championship team under Coach Jim Tressel. I say that not to impress you. I say it because everything I learned on that field is how I run my business. Discipline, preparation, protecting what matters. That's not a tagline. That's how I built and how I was built. Here's where I land. I'm not asking you to endorse me. I'm not asking you to change how you work or who you work with. All I'm asking for is 15 minutes. A real conversation where I can show you exactly how I operate and what I handle, and how sending a client to me protects your relationship with them rather than threatens it. When your client calls you in a panic because their portfolio dropped 30% and they don't know how to make the next month's income, I want you to have a number to call. When a client asks you how to reduce what they're going to owe on RMDs for the next 20 years, I want you to have an answer. I am the answer. My number is 804-909-5898. You can scan the QR code on the screen and schedule directly on my calendar, or you can check more of my information out on BuckeyeFinancialLLC.com. However you want to start the conversation, I'm ready. You deliver the news, I deliver the solutions. Let's work together.